Hello, this is Gary Marr, your instructor for CIS 150AB. This video session is more or less a replacement of class for this Thursday. I'm going to talk about two programs that will help you in Assignment 7 for class. Both of these programs involve reading from a file and displaying its contents. One of the programs will read the file and place it in an array. The other program reads the file, places the different field values inside identifiers, and then prints it out from there. Both of these are very close to what you're going to have to do for this assignment, but let me get through those. The other thing I'd like you to do this week is also try to get YouTube and look on some tutorials regarding object-oriented programming, whether it's Python or whatever, just so that you get another person's interpretation and instruction on how object-oriented programming works. If it helps, you might want to do a keyword search in YouTube on things like encapsulation, inheritance, instance variables, classes, object-oriented programming, etc. This first program is called file2array.py. This is in your Python scripts folder. This may be a little different than the one that was covered in week 10, so be cautious of that. Essentially what it's going to do is it's going to take a file that you must design, and I call the file in this case datafile.txt. When you create your file, you can use that name or whatever one you want. There's an example of this one out here in that same folder, so you can look at that if you'd like. What you're going to be doing there is creating 4 records that have 4 fields of information. Each one of the fields has to line up in the same column so you can parse it off correctly. Your information is going to be, I think, meal, time, date, and calories. You'll read that file in after it's created, and you'll open it as a read file. In this statement here, where I'm calling the variable identifier text_file, I'm going to open it as a read. You can use whatever name you want. Text file is not required. When something is white in this environment, it means it's supplied by you, the programmer. You're going to open that file next to read, and you're going to read all the lines inside an array called lines. Okay? You can then print out all the array on a single line using this statement, and then you can actually go into the array element by element and print out the information. So it displays roughly the same as you would see the display if you open this file with a text editor. In other words, you're going to have some field information that's going to print out. When I run this guy, and again, this is Visual Studio 2015, so I'm going to come down here, right-click, start without debugging. I should see at the end here all of my information that was inside the file displayed to the screen. Now, let me close that window. If you want to view that file inside Visual Studio, you can open it as a text file. It doesn't have to be a Python file. And so if I go into here, and again, I'm also in 150gmar Python scripts. If I move this down to data file, I there see the file that I actually opened for read. And then again, this was running that file, that program against that file. So it would look like that. Oops, that. Okay. The other example is probably equally as relevant. It's a little bit different. And this time I'm going to open the file again as read. It's the same file. I'm going to use a while loop to read it record by record or line by line. And based on the number of positions I've set aside for each field, I'm going to read the name, street, city, state, zip, and then, or not zip, I have this other extra variable which is just going to pick up the line return carriage feed. And if I read these into those variables, name, street, city, state, and then I print out the information next to it, I will have, in effect, the same thing happening as I did earlier with my array. I will have a dump of that file. Let me run this one, which shows all the information. This one's not going to work because there appears to be a problem locating the file. I'm not sure why that's having an issue right now, but I think that if you follow this pattern here, just be careful that this particular file is in the same folder as where you're running the program from. You should be good to go. Experiment with both of these to come up with your final solution. I think that the big deal here is probably changing the field names from name, street, city, state, X to whatever fields you're going to place your information in for the Eaglehead Fruit example. Good luck with this. If you have any questions, send me an email. Work with each other if that will help.